So today for our lesson, we are doing lesson 29, but we are going over common mistakes first on the last couple lessons we have done. So yesterday we did lesson 28. The common mistakes that I saw on your lesson 28 paper is that when you guys were making your boxes for your pictures, one would be this size for the hole, and the other one would be this size. What is the problem with that? So I think it was 3/4 was the question, and 2/3. What is the problem with this? Why is this not okay? Angelique? They're not the same size. Now, yesterday I told you to take your hole, trace your hole, and make them the exact same size. You actually even have pieces that you can use. Your fraction strips, you can trace them. I should not have had that many people that did not put the holes as the same size. Veda.
The reason why that is a problem is because if they're not the same at size, what'll happen is you won't understand if they're more or less.
Exactly. It's a big problem when you're going to compare, because if they're not the same size, you can't compare them. Come to the carpet. That purple dot right there. You cannot compare a medium pizza to a large pizza. They're not the same size. You can't compare how many slices were eaten. They're not the same size. Does not make sense. So if the fractions you were doing yesterday were 2/3 and 3/4, some people did not know what to do with that. So here's my thirds. This is 2/3. This is 3/4. 3/4 is just a tiny bit bigger. And if I did not make my holes the exact same size, then I most likely would have gotten the answer incorrect because my lines didn't match up correctly. Okay, that was the mistake that I saw from yesterday's lesson. Now, I also saw a mistake on the lesson when we were doing fractions on a number line and we were doing holes. So let's go back over that. Fractions on a number line and going over holes. Okay, so we're going to do multiple holes. So this is going to be a hole. This is going to be a hole. This is going to be a hole. And this is going to be a hole. Do you see how each of those spots is a hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
A hole. It's one. Now, when we did this, we talked about, so for example, I'll use my force. From here to here is how many fourths? 4 fourths. So you had 4 fourths. And that is equal to 1 hole. Emmy, can I get you to come sit on this green dot, please? I need your eyes up here. This green dot, please. Okay, but we're going past 1. We're going to 2, 3, and 4. So it's asking how many pieces then does it take to get to 2? Veda,
16 fourths.
how many pieces does it take to get to 2?
8 fourths.
8. So she took this and she doubled it because she knew there's 4 here, so there's going to be 4 here. So it would be 8 fourths. Do you kind of see it now? Is the visual helping? Okay, now, how many is it going to take to get to the 3? So you have these 4. These 4 are here too, and they're also here. So how many is it going to take to get to that next one? Miley, 12. Okay, we're doing the same thing. So you have 4 pieces here, you have 4 pieces here, you have 4 pieces here. Eli, how many to get to the next one? 16 fourths. Okay, I saw a lot of mistakes on that worksheet. That worksheet was one you took a picture of and you turned in. So if you made mistakes on that worksheet, you will have to hand draw it and show me that you are capable of doing this to turn it back in, okay? All right, for today's lesson, we're doing 29. Today you are getting a piece of paper because this was not something that could be done on the computer.
Because we're coloring.
It is because you are partitioning.
Uh-huh.
You are partitioning the number line correctly. And you are also, I think, no, there's shading. So just the partitioning and doing that correctly. So, okay. You have some models that you're going to look at. Each one is exactly the same size. Now we went over why the models or the holes have to be the same size. Veda, can you explain that again?
What?
Why the models or the holes have to be the same size when you're comparing?
Because if they're not the same size, what will happen is if you're measuring them and you try to figure out if they're like if they have the same lengths or if the pieces are like the same height, it won't be the exact same because the pieces are different sizes and the pieces will be smaller on one and the pieces will be bigger on another.
Very good. Jeremiah and Christian, blue and orange, please. Please. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is going to be 6. And I have 2 of those. And then the next one I'm going to do is going to have thirds. So you're looking at those and you are going to compare them. Now, in the boxes below, you are going to write the fraction for each one. And then there is a circle in between. Okay, what is the fraction for the 6? Eli. This one, what's the fraction? 2/6. So I would write that like this. And then what is the fraction for the orange one? Aaron?
2/3.
2/3. And then we're going to use the more than, less than symbol to determine which one is more. Now you are looking for which one is more. Okay, Monica, which one is more?
2/3.
2/3. Now remember, it is open to the greater side. I'm going to try to leave that up there the best I can without erasing my whole every single time. Okay, the next one we're going to do is force. And then we're doing eighths as well. All right. I'm going to erase these. You need to determine the fraction, and you're going to figure out which one is less than or greater than. If I haven't heard from you, I would love to hear from you. I should see some new hands. Elijah, what's this one? Yellow one. How many pieces are there to begin with? How many yellow pieces is there? We are dealing with fourths. How many did I put up there? 3/4. Perfect. Okay, now, Jade, I haven't heard from you. Perfect. Can you do the next one? 3/8. Okay, and which one is more? Warren. 3/4. Okay, do you see how having the same model does help you compare? It's a very big help when you're trying to compare. Because if I had made this one bigger, it could have looked different. It could have looked, and if I had partitioned my 3/8 and my pieces were bigger, it might have looked like 3/8 was bigger. So that's why you have to use the fraction strips I gave you. We made them for a reason. All right. Doing this one and doing this one. Okay, Erin? 1/4. Perfect. And the next one is Natalia? 1/2. Perfect. And which one is greater? Daniel? 1/2. 1/2. Great. Okay, now you have different models. They're not always going to look like a fraction strip. But as long as the model, so say you have this as your model. Okay, and it shows that this is shaded in. And then over here, this is divided into more pieces, but it still has the same shaded in, then it would be equal, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, I used a different fraction to make it. It's like, if you have 10 cents, is there more than one way of making 10 cents?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could use pennies, you could use nickels. There's more than one way of making 10 cents.
Or you could just get a dime, 1 dime.
Yes. Okay. But there's more than one way of doing it. Fractions, there's more than one way to make it equivalent. Okay, we are going to go back to doing fractions on a number line. Now, I went over fractions on the number line at the beginning of this lesson. However, this one is just when this is 1 and this is 0. Remember when we start with 0 and we just go to 1. That means that this entire thing is one whole. It is not more than one whole. So if we did halves, what would that be? If we did halves, I'm doing these little pieces. If I did halves, Beta.
Yeah, there would be 1/2.
1/2 here. And how many would there be here?
2 halves.
Colt.
2 halves.
2 halves. would be at that point? We would have a hole, correct? Okay, great. Let's do another one. What if we were doing force? Now we're working just with a hole starting at 0 and 1. Now, we're going to have 4 spaces because we're dealing with force, correct? Okay, first tick mark. What is it? Harder. 1/4. Next tick mark. What is it, Warren? 2/4. Next tick mark. What is it, Miley? 3/4. Next tick mark. What is it, Zidane? 4/4 or 1 whole. Very good. Okay, we're going to do 8s. 8s is a lot of tick marks. Okay, so splitting it into halves, splitting it into 4s. Each of those, split those up, and I should have 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, doing 8, starting at 0, ending at 1. Let's go. If you haven't participated, please make sure you do. Matthew, I haven't heard from you. Let's do the first one. 1/8. Perfect. Jeremiah, let's do the next one. 2/8. Emmy, let's do the next one. 3/8. Good job. Okay, Christian, do the next one.
4/8.
4/8. Great. Okay, how about Daniel? Do the next one. Brayden, do the next one. Good. And think of Z.
7/8.
Matthew. Matthew.
8/8.
8/8 or 1 whole. Perfect. Now there is going to be some on your lesson that's just say the fraction. They're going to give you a fraction and they're going to say, hey, what about 3/8 and 2/4? Which one's bigger? Now, stop. Stop. Before I guess at this, what should I do? Natalia? Draw it. I need to trace some holes. Or I need to get out my fraction strips and make this. Okay, the next thing on your lesson for today. Daniel, will you come join us on the carpet? You do have some word problems that you're going to need to do. Now, on these word problems, you need to make some holes. And I expect to see your holes. Now, on every single one of these, I expect to see 2 holes that are the exact same size and how you partition them. You can't just guess. I want to see the work there to show me what you did. And you are going to take a picture of this lesson and turn it in. Veda.
It's actually harder to figure out the answer. It's better if we draw the picture for it so you understand.
It is better if you draw the picture. It helps you learn so much more. Thank you, Veda.